Back off, man. I'm a scientist. Welcome to Primary Technology, the show about the tech news that matters. Lots of news this week. Apple acquires Motion VFX, what I've been using for years, and announced AirPods Max 2. iOS 26.4 release candidate is out there, likely coming next week with video podcasts and updates to music. NVIDIA had huge news. There's a new HomeKit secure video doorbell, which I'm actually excited about. I got it right here. Overcast is getting transcripts. Encyclopedia Britannica is suing OpenAI. I have the Samsung Galaxy S26 and tried some agentic stuff and a ton more. This episode is brought to you by 1Password, Shopify, and all of you, the members who support us directly. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Robles. With me, as always, my friend, Jason Eight. How's it going, Jason?
It's going really good, Stephen.
Going good?
It's going great. I'm only on my first cup of coffee, so just be patient with me this morning.
Okay, so that's what it is. See, I had my coffee early. I woke up earlier than usual today because I take my son to the doctor, and so I got the energy. I'll try to bring it for both of us, you know. And you know where the energy is really coming from is we are now, and once again, a 5-star podcast. I should have queued up some, yeah. That was me doing a sound effect in real time. We are a 5-star podcast. Thank you so much, everyone. This is awesome. We were once a 5-star, and now we are once again. That's with 430 ratings in Apple Podcasts in the U.S. If you look at our show in other countries, we might not be a 5-star podcast, and we won't have that many reviews. But here in the U.S., we are, and that is wonderful. Do you see how Apple Podcasts cropped my face? Isn't that's just a crime?
I just thought that was how your face was cropped.
That's my actual face in real life.
I don't know. I just
cuts off at the chin. If you go in Apple Podcasts and you scroll to the bottom of our show, you'll see the cropping that Apple Podcast did. You can send them pictures, like if you're a host, and they'll update. You can't update it yourself. You have to send it to them. And they chose just a wild crop for my face. But anyway, 5-star podcast. Thank you so much. So we have 1,000 shout outs to give. So we got to do it. Ryan Bullock from the USA, he said he has an M2 Air and heard us yelling, don't get an M2 Air right now. I don't know if we said that, but listen, if you have an M2 Air or you want to buy one because it's on sale, get an M2 Air.
Yeah, I think the clarification we were making is a lot of people were saying, don't buy the Neo, just buy an M2 MacBook Air. The M2 MacBook Air was amazing when it was released. It was new form factor. It was like the best thing about the M2 Air was that people were so blown away by the M1 Air that people just assumed Apple would never be able to do that again. And like the M2 was great. It was better, like whatever. But right this moment, like I would say the Neo is a good option.
Neo is a good option. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too.
Yep.
Chase the Bass from the UK, battery percentage on. Chuck Eel from USA for the best tech podcast. Glossy, battery percentage off and studio display. Thank you. I got one vote for Glossy in the reviews. You can still leave us a 5-star rating and review this week and let us know, glossy or nano texture. Read the Roomy from the USA said the MacBook Neo's right for me. There you go. Amolinus from Edinburgh, Scotland. He listens during his runs, which is super fun. Stephen Robles, #1 fan. That's their name. I don't know if that's their Apple ID, but I mean, you don't have to name your Apple ID after me. Please don't do that. That's probably not good for OPSEC. But from the UK, started listening a month ago. Thanks for that 5-star review.
And he's already your #1 fan.
All right. That's a good point. Hayden S. Banks from Australia, we're their favorite tech podcast. 3 Musketeers from Australia, 2 Australias in 1 week. Doesn't get the display hype, but loves the podcast. Can I just take an aside right here about the display, Jason?
What does that mean? Doesn't get the display hype?
I think the new displays like the XDR, people have been really excited about it. They've been hyping it across all the different shows. I was hyped. I was excited for my XDR. I still really like it. I almost don't want to say this because I don't want you to feel like you're somehow right in something, okay? But it is, I don't notice the difference most of the time. Because as right now, with all my windows open, like Notion, Safari, like the XDR part of this monitor is not doing anything. And the ProMotion's not doing anything. Nothing's moving. And so it's a great looking display, but the resolution's the same. And so the things are different. Everything still looks a little better, I'll say. But it's not like a massive difference. It's not a massive difference.
When you say okay. If only there was someone in your life who would have tried to tell you. I wish there was someone for you.
I think my title on YouTube still stands. I regret nothing. I don't regret getting it. And if and when I watch Interstellar on this display, which we're going to talk about how I watched on my TV later, there's that. And every time I minimize an app, the Genie effect looks crisp. Okay? The crispest Genie effect you've ever seen. It's great.
You are like the person who bought a Bugatti, and then you're like, that's not super practical for day-to-day use, so you bought a Porsche 911. It's like also not super practical, like for going to the
Sure.
grocery store. It's like what you needed was a Camry and a Bugatti because the
Listen.
Camry is the one that does all the things you need. And when you want the really cool experience of driving a car that you're not really capable of handling, you
No.
drive the Bugatti.
If
What I'm saying
Listen.
is Steven bought both an OLED and a Studio Display XDR in the same week, and those two things really overlap in a lot of ways, except for what you're noticing now is that the XDR really doesn't have any functional difference when you're just recording podcasts or even recording YouTube videos, which is the thing you do most of the time.
That is true.
Also, editing YouTube videos, it's not going to make any difference because you're not editing them in HDR.
No, but scrolling the timeline is still smoother. But it's not a big deal. I'll be honest, it is not a big deal because I'm not like swiping across fast a lot. But anyway, I had a display midlife crisis. That's just what I'm chalking it up to. I upgraded all the displays that my eyes look at for, a lot, except for my phone, which is already the most you can get. Anyway, Hog fan and Cowboy fan from the USA. Thank you for your 5-star review. Robert from the USA, we're one of his favorite podcasts. Kevin from Australia, excellent rapport. 3 Australias. That's amazing. Thank you guys for showing. You guys should do a meetup in Australia. Or maybe we should
come.
We should do a meetup. That'd be wild. We got a lot of Australia listeners. Mike in Kiwani from the USA says we're Mr. Enthusiasm and Mr. Pragmatic. I'll let you guess who's who. Greg Collins from the USA. Best tech conversation out there. Thanks, Greg. He's also in my Shortcuts community. Appreciate you, Greg. S. Garduno from the USA and Damian Marv from the USA. He says he asked Jason to send him some stuff. He's like, why does Jason always get to keep all this stuff? Jason, do you keep all the stuff Apple sends you?
Okay, what he said was, I'm jealous the other guy gets all this free tech for review and doesn't return it. I mean,
Jason returns it eventually.
Technically, I have a lot of stuff that I have not yet returned, but I want to be very clear that I do return all of the stuff.
Yes, he does.
And I also cannot send you my Studio Display XDR because Steven is the one that has a Studio Display XDR. I do not. I did get a Studio Display to review. I'm looking at it right now. It is a nano texture, non-XDR version. Right. And I have the exact same feedback that Steven has. Looking at all of these windows, nothing about this is XDR and nothing about it is scrolling at 120 hertz. And the fact that it's not capable of either of those things makes no difference right now.
Right. So Jason does eventually have to send everything back. He takes a while. That's fine. You still got your M5 Vision Pro?
Yeah, but I've only had that for like a couple months.
How often are you still using it?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I'm wearing it right now.
No, you're not. Like, wait a minute.
Eyesight has gotten really, really good. It just looks like my face.
Yeah. Do you still like just read and research on it?
I use it so I started out before the Mac virtual display was good, having like windows open but now I use it most frequently as Mac virtual display plus other windows, and it's great because I can have an XDR display in front of my face.
You can have your MacBook Neo as an XDR display.
I have not tried that yet.
I'm curious actually if it could do that.
Why would it not be able to? It's got an A18 Pro, which is essentially an M4.
Well, let me know. Try it, man. I'm curious.
But it can't what? What can it do?
I don't know. Do the ultra wide? I don't know if the MacBook Neo can do the virtual ultra wide display.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Let me know for test for next time.
Hang on, let me do that right.
Oh yeah, go ahead. All right, last couple of things. I have a Samsung Galaxy S26. We're going to talk about it a little later. But Clay was very nice. Sent me a long screen recording of how he customizes and how he uses his Galaxy S26, and there were a lot of things I was not aware of, as you can imagine. So appreciated that. I'm keeping it and going to be playing around with it and talk about some of the Gemini autonomous screen features that it has, which is pretty cool. And then Shahab from Canada sent us a picture of where he watches Primary Teching. Look at this. It's on his new MacBook Neo in Citrus. Isn't that cool?
Very fun.
Go. That's us on the MacBook Neo, where we are showing a picture of where another listener was listening to the show walking in over in the UK. And so there we go. We got the inception of everybody watching. So speaking of MacBook Neo, I had one. I actually already sent it back because I made the video and it wasn't a review unit. So I sent mine back, but I've not seen this news anywhere. And I thought this was bizarre and you thought it was equally bizarre. So I said, all right, well, let's talk about it. I came across this Instagram reel and it is a creator on Instagram. She is a teacher, bio with Mrs. Mac. And she said in her caption that Apple provided this MacBook through their creator access program. And this reel it's got, several tens of thousands of views, got like 12,000 likes. I thought this was curious because as far as I knew, Apple did not typically give away things. There's been a couple times where there's been like creators that maybe they were partnering with, and so they gave them like a new setup. I feel like maybe in the past I've seen something like that, but it was very obvious like what was happening. The fact that this person and creator is saying this is provided through the Creator Access Program from Apple. Jason and I did some research before we started recording the show. There is no mention of this anywhere on the internet except for this reel. They're saying the Creator Access Program. And I assumed that this was like real. And Jason was like, maybe this person is just saying things.
I am usually the pragmatic, skeptical person. I'm not, I want to be clear, I'm not accusing this person of anything.
No.
What I am saying is this is media literacy 101. Just because someone says something on the internet doesn't mean that that's what happened. And I can't find a single story talking about this. And that seems interesting that if Apple was just sending out Neos to people,
right, that
we would have, well, first of all, if they're sending them to creators, I definitely feel like we would have seen a video from other creators for whom this happened. Right. And so
it's kind of their job to share stuff on the internet.
Kind of it is.
You know what I mean?
And so that seems strange to me. Again, not suggesting that this person is lying, but all I'm saying is Apple also is not the kind of company that if you just made something up like this, that they're going to come and correct the record necessarily. They just don't care. I mean, they care, but they don't
care to correct.
They're not going to do that unless you say something like real bad.
Defaming of them.
Yeah, unless you're John Prosser. Then they'll let you, then they'll come after you.
So we're curious. Has anyone heard of this? Like, we really want to know, listeners. You can email us, or if you hadn't heard of the Creator Access Program, or if you see any other post, like if you literally do the Google search where you put Creator Access Program in quotation marks, which if you didn't know, you do that in a Google search, Google will just show you results where that exact phrase is mentioned on a website. The only result that comes up right now is this Instagram reel. Nowhere on Apple's website, support pages, in no other post, no other video. Like, it's just not there. You get lots of Creator Studio links, which is not what we're talking about. So I just thought that was interesting. I had not seen it covered anywhere, and I don't know, wanted to do a call out to see if anybody had heard of that.
Strange. Also, she doxed herself because
she has her address and everything. Yeah. It's probably
and I'm trying to figure out where it was sent from.
Oh, you're doing some like enhance.
And it is definitely not an address that I have ever received anything from Apple before, but that's not really like inclusive either way. Well, that doesn't really mean anything though, because like it was a different part of something. So again, I'm definitely not saying that this didn't happen, but what I'm saying is it's strange.
It is strange
that a biology teacher is the only person that we've heard about it from. Yeah. And if you are at Apple and you listen to this, so this is a perfect example, Stephen.
Yes.
I do have a strongly held opinion about this.
Oh.
I'm also happy to be wrong. Like, if I'm wrong, please, I would love to know more about this, that Apple is in fact sending out MacBook Neos. And if that's true, like, that's very cool if Apple's doing that. I just feel like, how many did they send out and what did the other people do with them? Because they didn't make Instagram reels.
Yeah. Should I put that in the title? Is Apple sending out MacBook Neos?
Ooh, because MacBook Neo does do very well in the title for us.
Our YouTube episodes are doing awesome. And people are discovering the show. I think I'm going to put that in the title. That's interesting. Great. Well, we have some other Apple news too, because Apple announced that they have acquired Motion VFX. And this felt like huge news. One, I've used Motion VFX for years. They make plugins, visual effects, like MKBHD has a Motion VFX pack. I actually use both of their packs in Final Cut. And now Apple has acquired them. The Motion VFX team, which is a Polish software company founded in 2009, they're going to actually come and now work at Apple after this acquisition. There's not been announcements about what is going to happen, but I feel like of all the things to like try to predict the future, 100% these are going to be a Creator Studio feature. Like these plugins, extra features, just like in Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, where now premium templates are under the Creator Studio subscription. They can now say, okay, because the one-time purchase Final Cut and Compressor users, they got the update with Creator Studio for things like transcripts and transcript search in Final Cut and those features. So right now, if you're on a one-time purchase for Final Cut Pro or on Creator Studio subscription, there's no distinction feature-wise. The distinctions happen in Pixelmator Pro, which that one-time purchase did not get the updates like the Warp tool and stuff. And the iWork suite, there's now a difference. But Final Cut, there was no difference. now 100% this is coming. I am sure that like in the next 6 months to a year, maybe even by WWDC time, you will hear that Final Cut Studio, if you do the Creator Studio subscription, you're going to get a bunch of plugins and effects, and they're going to be the motion VFX ones. Honestly, that might be a great deal for people. I mean, motion VFX, they used to be a one-time purchase model. Like I purchased the MKBHD pack of effects for like $100, and I've been using them ever since, and I didn't need a subscription. Motion VFX moved to a subscription model for a lot of their plugins for things like the rotoscope tool and other stuff. And I didn't care for that. I didn't want to subscribe. But as a benefit to Creator Studio and the Creator Studio subscription actually being cheaper than a lot of those motion VFX subscriptions, I'm very curious. Maybe they would even, I don't know, hopefully not, but they might even put a higher tier for Creator Studio.
Stop talking. What are you doing?
Sorry. I'm just saying.
Tim Cook has never saw a higher tier that he wasn't a fan of. So just stop.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so forget I ever said that. But anyway, I think it's big news, and I think hopefully it brings some benefits to current Final Cut users. We'll see.
Also, for everyone who I just hissed in their ear, I apologize.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully the DSer, which it would only apply if I edited this differently for audio listeners than I did video. Anyway, we'll get to that. Also, Apple announced AirPods Max 2. Not to be confused with AirPods Max 1.5 with the USB-C. This is the actual 2 model. And Apple actually called it 2. I feel like you don't really see Apple put the number 2 after a name of a product pretty like often. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, AirPods Pro, right? Like those things all have 2.
They don't call them AirPods Pro 3 right now. I bet you. I'm going to go right now. We're going to do some real-time follow-up. AirPods and AirPods Pro. Oh, they put them right here. AirPods Pro 3.
Like, what are you talking about? Literally do a Google search for AirPods Pro. First result, AirPods Pro 3.
Okay. Anyway, AirPods Max 2, they're finally upgraded with the H2 chip, which if you bought the USB-C version even recently, it was still on the older H1 chip, which did not have things like conversation awareness and some of the other like adaptive audio features. Well, now AirPods Max 2 will be updated. You can pre-order Wednesday, March 25th. They'll get the H2 chip. They get conversation awareness. They'll also have 1.5 times better noise canceling, which I think is as a result of the H2 chip. I think once all the AirPods moved to the H2, they also got better stuff. There's also a new high dynamic range amplifier, so better sound possibly. And yeah, these are all the features that are coming, like live translation. Live translation wasn't in the AirPods Max. They're still going to be $549, and the colors pretty much stayed the same, I believe. But that's the thing.
What would these, like, do these have any features that make them a better pair of headphones than the previous ones? And based on the fact that they're $100 more than the Sony's and what, like, you know what I mean? Like, what about these?
I mean, the new driver might sound better. New digital signal processing algorithm optimized for H2. I mean, the H2 chip will be the biggest difference.
Yeah. I mean, definitely when I'm, listening to my music, what I really strive for is digital signal processing algorithms. Right.
I mean, the audio, I think like you thought the AirPods Pro 3 noise canceling was better than the AirPods Pro 2. And that was noticeably different. And so maybe, and both the AirPods Pro 2 and 3 had the H2 chip. It was the same chip in both. So, but these might be better. Have you tried AirPods Max?
I had a AirPods Max, remember? And
you did.
I don't have AirPods Max.
Right.
They're just not worth it. I have.
Yeah,
they're not better than Wilkins. They're not better than the Bowers and Wilkins or the Sony XM. Right. I don't even have the newest pair of Sony. To be fair, the problem is not to go too far down the road. In my mind, the Bowers and Wilkins are the best sounding of all of them. They're a little bit less popular because the noise cancellation is not quite as good, and also they are a little bit more head clampy. Right? They're
more than the Max.
No, than the Sonys. Sonys, I think, sound great. Noise cancellation, great. Most comfortable headphones that I've ever used. And that includes the Bose, by the way, that everybody seems to really like also. The AirPods Max sound almost as good as the Bowers and Wilkins, but are even more head clampy, less comfortable. Yeah. And then, but the noise cancellation was better. In the AirPods Max, the original ones, I would say that the noise cancellation was as good, if not better, than the AirPods Pro 3.
They are very good.
So like that was not something that needed to be improved. I don't know. I'm just curious. Like $549 is a lot. If these things were $399, they would.
I know. But people buy these. I see them out in the world. Like AirPods Maxes are out there. I don't know if they're the originals or whatever, but I don't know if I'll get a review unit. I did ask for one. That I actually got the AirPods Macs with USB-C review unit, which was
Mm.
not as big an upgrade as this, but we'll see. I'll try to do that. But yeah, the head clamping was an issue for me. And now I know what you're going to say. People might be thinking, well, dude might have a big head. And you might not be wrong.
You need to crop your head a little bit, Steven.
I need to crop my head. But I actually gave my first gen AirPods Max to my middle son, whose head is significantly smaller than mine. And even after a couple weeks, he freaked out. He was like, "Oh, AirPods Max is awesome." And then after a while, I saw him stop using them, and I was like, "Do you still wear the AirPods Max?" And he was like, "It kind of hurt my head when I wore them for a long time." And I was like, "That clamping strength is no joke on the AirPods Max." And so it doesn't seem like they changed the hardware or the metal canopy and how they clamp. So I'm curious to test the clamping strength. Personally.
Yeah. I wore them on a flight when I had them to Europe, maybe Dubai, can't remember which, and then I never left the house
Yeah.
because they were just not comfortable for that long. That's also why I don't wear the Vision Pro on a plane, because it's the clamping for
You still, please, at least once. You got to do it at least once. Got to do it. They canceled the just randomly F1. Didn't they cancel the F1 Saudi Arabia race?
They have not. So what they've said is the Saudi Arabia and Bahrain will not be raced as scheduled. I don't know that they've actually said that they're, quote, canceled yet. I don't know. I mean, an F1, a Grand Prix is a hard thing to reschedule, right? It's a hard thing to be like, hey, 200,000 people, come back next week instead. Like, I mean,
right.
And obviously they wouldn't be doing it next week. But like, I don't know if they're just trying to save themselves a little bit of leeway that if somehow the schedule, but like the F1 schedule is pretty set, and you can't just all of a sudden be like, I know you all have your flight plans, but we'd like you to come back here. So I don't think they're going to race them at all this year. But my understanding from reading what F1 posted, it's like they will not be as scheduled.
Interesting.
Which kind of means canceled without saying it. Kind of like the Mac Pro. We will not be releasing a Mac Pro as scheduled.
It's still a product in our lineup, as Apple is wont to say. Okay, well, iOS 26.4, the release candidate, just came out yesterday as we record, likely to be released publicly Monday, Wednesday next week, one of those. 26.4 actually has a bunch of enhancements. Apple Music gets a bunch of features, including Playlist Playground, which is an Apple Intelligence feature. You do need to have Apple Intelligence on your phone to use it, but you can ask it for playlists with a text prompt. Concerts near you, you'll be able to see artists and actually see links to buy the tickets from the concerts that are near you. Offline music recognition, so you can Shazam stuff even without internet access. There's an ambient music widget, full screen backgrounds for album stuff. But the bigger changes, Apple Podcast Video, which I just mentioned briefly in a moment, and Apple has said better typing. That when you type fast on iPhone, they kind of admitted that it's not good right now. And just in the last release candidate, they were like, that will improve with the 26.4 release.
Why do you think it got bad?
I don't know, because it seems so outside of what features they launched with iOS 26. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, there's no extra keyboard feature. Oh, there's new emojis too in 26.4, like a trombone and the squeeze emoji. But anyway, I don't know why it got bad, but it definitely got bad.
Yeah, because I feel like the only two ways it could get bad is if you change something about the UI, which Liquid Glass, but I don't think Liquid Glass is what broke it necessarily.
No.
Or you change something about, I'm going to pretend like this is what it's called, but like the engine that drives the predictive text, right? Because the keyboard is like essentially, it's predicting what the likely word is going to be.
Right.
If you type T and then you type an R, it's like the next letter are probably going to be an O or a vowel. It's not going to be an X. So the X is like actually tiny and the letters next to it are bigger.
Right.
And it feels like that's what got completely messed up because it's just like gibberish.
Well, that was an interesting part when interviewed David Pogue on Mac Power Users. He was saying, like, if you type TH or TR, the touch targets for letters like E or A become larger because it knows you're not going to type a Z or a B or a P. So the touch targets, not that you visually see the touch targets change, but the software will make the touch target larger. And so it does seem like that could have been the only thing that in iOS 26.4, maybe as Alan Dye was heading out, he was like, you know what, I'm going to screw up this keyboard. I don't know.
Which, by the way, is actually really frustrating. Not the Alan Dye part.
Yeah.
But when you're actually trying to type like an abbreviation or something like that, and your iPhone is like, no, not a word. You can't type that letter there. The Ken Kashenda book, Creative Selection, is great if you wanna know more about how the iPhone keyboard became a thing. Yes. There you go.
It's a great book. Just overall, there's some fun Steve Jobs stories in there too. And the other big difference, or big change in iOS 26.4 are the video podcast stuff. So the HLS video we have talked about on the show. We're not going to go in length. I did write a thing because I had another existential crisis on a Sunday night, which I am wont to do. And I'm still torn about doing it for this podcast. Transistor, our podcast host, which they're amazing. They sponsored a couple weeks ago. They didn't sponsor this episode, but they are going to be one of the partners to offer HLS video and Apple Podcast, this new feature. They're working to implement it, and so it'll be coming in a couple weeks. They might actually help this show do it a little faster, maybe. So we might try it. In my blog post, which I'll link in the show notes, I talk about the things that we as creators give up and you as the audience, namely chapter artwork for the audio and some other things. I looked back at all the emails I received once we asked the audience, do you want video and Apple Podcasts or do you want these other features? And it was actually pretty split. It was more split than I remember. More people said like, yeah, or half people that said like, would love the video and Apple Podcasts. Half the other ones that said, please don't change the audio experience. And so I literally don't know what I'm going to do for this very episode. You'll either have been hearing the audio from the video, or you'll have been hearing it how I edit it every week for the past 2.5 years. I literally don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to decide once I click stop recording today. So I will have to figure out what to tell you which way I did it. If you see chapter artwork and you're listening to this show, you'll know I did it the old way. If not, I don't know. If you're on the 26.4 release candidate beta and you see the video, well, then you know I did it that way. I literally have not decided even right now what I'm going to do.
I have a confession though, Stephen.
Okay.
And this is true of every podcast. Well, it's actually not true of this podcast because I typically don't listen to it after the fact, but it's true of every other podcast. I don't look at the chapter artwork unless there's a specific reference to it. Not saying like this is the chapter artwork, but meaning like, oh, they're talking about Steven's iPhone home screen.
Sure.
Maybe it's the chapter artwork. I'll look. But other than that, do you think most people, people like chapter artwork.
I think people who have CarPlay or have cars that show the chapter artwork and have it change live probably appreciate it. Because whether like, it's almost like a visual, like, oh, they're talking about Meta right now, or they're talking about this product and you can like glance at it and see. But I don't know. I really don't know. Like I didn't make a poll or something to say how much they like chapter artwork. And honestly, effort-wise, it would be a little less work for me to just edit the video, edit it as well as I can, and then use that as both the video file and the MP3 file. But I still don't know. I'm really torn. I don't know what I'm going to do. So you will know, listening to this in the future, what I did. I presently don't know what future me is going to do.
That's really weird, Steven.
It is weird. Time is weird. Time is a flat circle. Watched Interstellar again. Just saying, we're going to get to that in a personal tech because talk about my OLED TV. Anyway, there was all the big news from NVIDIA. And so why don't you run me down on that? Because I did not follow this super close. I saw the Olaf robot and I didn't know what that was.
This is huge news. I can't believe that's fine. It is big news, but it's also not super interesting for like the broader tech audience if you're not very focused on what's happening with the infrastructure layers of AI, right? But GTC is NVIDIA's like developer conference. Like it's their kind of version of like a iPhone event and a WWDC kind of wrapped in one. And Jensen Huang, who's the CEO of NVIDIA, he has his signature leather jacket look, and the guy gives a 2-hour keynote.
Oh my! Just solo?
Yeah, basically. Like I also was at CES, and he gave a keynote, and I actually had to leave because it was so long that I had something else I had to get to, and I was like, I really hope he's gotten through all the good stuff. I'm not like that's great. He can do that. He's very like laid back and kind of chill, and also he has a way of talking about things that are very nerdy and both making you excited and understand. And I'm like, didn't think I was going to be either of those things.
That's a good combo. Yeah. I will say he's not super laid back when he's asked about his partnership with OpenAI and he's about to get into a cab. Because I've seen a number of videos like that.
I did not see those. But typically if you're trying to get into a cab, you're probably not chill about anything. That's fair.
So. That is fair.
But He talked about how they are expecting $1 trillion worth of orders for their Blackwell and Vera Rubin chips through the end of next year.
Wow.
I think he had said 500 billion last year for the time frame, so he's doubling that. What he's seeing, they are. He made a quote that was like the computing demand has increased by like 1 million times over the last years. I don't actually know what that means, but it seems like people are using computers a lot more, and the shift here is like from training models to actually running models, and as the ways you can use models expands, NVIDIA is essentially trying to build a full stack system, right? They talked about this at CES, the Vera Rubin deal, where it's because essentially they were introducing, and they bought a company called Grok, not to be confused with Grok, the chatbot from X.
Wait, there's another company called Grok?
Well, they basically Aqua hired all the people and all the technology and stuff, and so and that is again, I think this is true. Please correct me. I'm happy to be corrected about this, but like they're working on a CPU because you have all these incredibly powerful GPUs that can do all of this work, and they need to do the work faster. That's what he keeps talking about, is like accelerated computing, because the only way that agents can do any of this stuff is if it's faster.
Sure.
But you need CPUs that can feed this. I mean, these CPUs literally just exist to feed stuff to GPUs, right? You need something just feeding it. So that was one of their big announcements. And then, they had a Disney robot, an Olaf robot, come out on stage, and they were talking to each other, and watching Jensen Huang talk to a robot is always an interesting demo. Let me just.
What was the purpose? Is like Olaf is run by AI or something?
Well, so it was completely trained. It was completely programmed through training, right? So like I think that the idea is that you can interact with this robot and it's autonomous, and it was trained in. I'm sorry, I said this. I said it was completely trained in. It was trained through simulation, and so like I don't know. It learned how to walk through the omniverse, or like the point is, well, and at CES what Jensen Huang was really talking about was physical AI, right? So robots that are capable of doing things because they've been trained through AI. And physical AI is an incredibly hard problem to solve. As you might imagine, we've seen cars try this and it has not really worked out very well. So
can I let me just say, I'm watching this video, and we will link the YouTube to this Olaf robot. Yeah. This is a little terrifying. Like if this robot walked out to me and started talking, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want this thing talking to me.
I definitely don't want it talking to me, but
something about it is just a little, it's not uncanny valley, because that's having to do with humans, but it's like, I don't know, unsettling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Before we move on from this, you brought it up and it's not in our rundown.
Okay. What is it?
But you mentioned uncanny valley.
Yeah.
And AI.
Sure.
Have you seen the new Val Kilmer movie promo?
Now wait a minute. I want to be kind here, but didn't he pass away?
Yes. And yet they are making a movie with Val Kilmer.
Oh no.
Completely generated by AI.
Jason, no. No, Jason. Are you for real?
Yeah. I mean, looking at an article in Variety right now.
Is this it?
As Deep as the Grave. Yep.
No, Jason.
I didn't make the movie, Steven. You don't have to yell at me.
No, Jason, why? Why did you manifest this? Really?
Yeah. Apparently his family is on board because the director really, really, really wanted Val Kilmer to be in it, and he couldn't be, because he had throat cancer, right?
Yeah, throat cancer, yeah.
And he did pass away.
Yeah.
But they have used some state-of-the-art generative AI, and he's done it in cooperation with the actor's estate. But, okay, so if you were going to do this, that's the only way you should do this, but also you just shouldn't do it.
Oh, man.
Doesn't it feel like manifesting a thing that is really going to come back to bite you later? Like, you're a filmmaker. The fact that there are limits on what you can do in telling stories is actually a good thing.
Here's the thing.
There's a lot of things. But
there's a lot of things about this. I don't typically predict things unless it's fun Apple rumors or whatever. But like, this feels like it will be an inflection point either way. Like either this is groundbreaking in a way and people are like, wait, maybe this isn't as bad as we thought. Or there's just a massive backlash and it's like, we need to never do this again. I don't think that there will be much in between nuance on that feeling. Like this feels... So was it James Earl Jones? They licensed his voice for Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, and they used AI in conjunction with a voice actor to create the Darth Vader voice that's in that Disney Plus show. James Earl Jones was still alive at the time. He's still alive now, right? Did he pass away? I don't know.
We should know this. You have a movie podcast.
Well, we record 2 episodes a year, so
One of which just came out. He died in 2024.
He did pass away. Okay, that's what I thought. He died. So, but he was alive when the Obi-Wan series came out and his voice was used. Now, maybe this is just totally like vibes, but I feel like having an AI generated voice that was created when the person was still alive and he's now licensed it, like if I hear a James Earl Jones Darth Vader voice by AI in some clip of a Star Wars show, that still does not feel as bad as like a fully AI generated actor who's passed away on screen visually and is also like starring in the movie. Like that feels very, I mean, I understand like they're both AI generated things, but it feels very different to like see the person who has died on screen, right?
Yes. And the reason we care about James Earl Jones or Val, whoever, is because there's only one of them. They are finite. They can only do so many movies. They will have a body of work when they finish that is like, it is finite, right? Once you make it infinite, there's no value. If Val Kilmer is in every single movie, like it's not special. Val Kilmer is in every single, like imagine right now. Okay, the coolest thing that's happening right now is that Harrison Ford is in a TV show, Shrinking, that is just amazing.
Right.
Also, you know who else is in that? Michael J. Fox.
Right, exactly.
Imagine if that was just an AI Michael J. Fox. It would not be meaningful that he was there. It would just be like, I mean, yeah, it's cool that they made a representation of a character who has Parkinson's and plays a character who has Parkinson's because one of the other characters, but it's not real, so it's just no longer meaningful. Once you can have infinity of something, it loses its value. And so that's why this is a bad idea to have Val Kilmer starring AI generated version of him. That sentence didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Like it's not special. Like you could have just made any AI thing. Like just make an AI person. It doesn't matter. That would have been just as meaningful as the fact that it's not Val Kilmer is what I'm trying to say.
There is going to be, again, speaking of Joanna Stern, who announced what she's doing something with NBC now going forward. But Joanna Stern had that documentary about loved ones after death.
Yep.
I don't know if it was Life After Death. I'll find the link for the show notes. Eternal, like the letter E-Ternal. And it was an incredible documentary interview, 22 minutes long. I'll put it in the show notes. But the reason why that was so fascinating is because dealing with the death of a loved one, if you have the possibility of creating an AI version of them that you can interact with later, does that help? Does that hurt? And like, as you are saying, it is meaningful because they are finite. I think of other actors like Morgan Freeman, who is still with us, but when he passes, surely there will be tons of AI generated voiceovers of Morgan Freeman. And that will not be great. But to have them start like, and Michael J. Fox is another great example. For him to be in Shrinking now, alive with Parkinson's, is incredible. If you AI generate Michael J. Fox, do you then choose to AI generate him with or without Parkinson's? Because one might be easier for a regular consumer to watch, but it is far less true to life,
right,
far less meaningful.
And it would not be special.
It would not be special. And like, man, that brings up so many questions. And if it's ethical, if it's like more, like I don't even, like it touches, oh my goodness. That I was not ready for that.
I know. I should put these things in the rundown ahead of time, but I completely forgot until we started talking about Olaf. Like this is the way my brain works, Steven.
No,
Olaf, Val Kilmer.
That's I will say, because you've said it plainly, and I'll say it plainly too. I think AI Val Kilmer in a movie is a bad idea. Yeah. I don't think that's a good idea.
Because it's not special. It's not Val Kilmer.
It's not special, but even more so, it might be hurtful in a way. If the family's on board, maybe not. But even if the family's on board and Val Kilmer was on board before he died, seeing a 2-hour movie with your loved one, AI generated, like that might change how on board you feel about it after the fact. And once the movie is made, it's like genie in the bottle thing. You can't put it back. That feels a toke too far.
Yeah, I just think that it's one of those novel ideas. It's like, this is cool that we can do this, but it completely misses the point that the reason you did this is that you really wanted Val Kilmer in your movie, but he's still not in your movie because that's not Val Kilmer, and it is not special in the way that it would have been if you would have had Val Kilmer. And I just think that we are like, if you think it's bad right now, the way that like the shift that places like Instagram had from people sharing photos of their cat among their close group of friends to now there's just AI slop everywhere. Imagine if the movie theaters become that.
What I also like, the human memory is complicated and it gets messed with a lot and messed up a lot. And your memory changes events that happen. And when you think of adding to your memories of the AI generated version of your loved one and not the real one, years later, how does that, like, we won't know until this happens, but how does that then affect your memory of the person? Like, do those memories meld? Like, there will need to be studies of like, how is that going to affect the way we perceive the person we knew now that there's this new data of a generated version of them, but it is kind of part of them. I don't know, man. I don't know. That wow. Wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Listen.
And all of it's possible because of NVIDIA's chips. So bringing it back for you full circle.
Thank you for that. Yeah. So, well, listen, we're going to turn this thing around because I actually have something I was excited about, which is a video doorbell, which seems trite in comparison, but we're going to get to that and some actually other good news. But before we do want to thank our wonderful sponsors. Listen, keeping your information private and secure is important. You don't want stuff being generated all about you. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to 1Password. 1Password is where you can keep your password safe, keep your information safe. I actually installed 1Password on my Mac just the other day. I realized I was using it on my iPhone and my iPad, and I was like, you know what? Let me just put it everywhere. And I'm using 1Password back on my Mac because it's one of the best. It's just one of the best. I keep all my information there, not only passwords, but I also keep, loyalty numbers, even things like bank information. And I just need it easily and quickly accessible, however you say that. And 1Password is the way to do it. And listen, it's not just for individuals. I use it personally. I use it with my family. We have shared vaults. But teams of any size, small businesses to large, can be a target. And the good news is even the smallest teams can foil cybercrime. That's one word, cybercrime. 1Password provides simple security to help small teams manage the number one risk that bad actors exploit, that is weak passwords. If you have all your passwords memorized, that's not good. That's not good practice. You actually don't want to be able to memorize all your passwords. And the one to help is 1Password. It's designed to meet small teams where they are, but also built to grow with your company. However complex your security needs may get, 1Password will stay with you every step of the way. And the earlier you start, the easier it is to build your business on a secure foundation. Plus, 1Password's Enterprise Password Manager helps your company eliminate security headaches, improve security by identifying those weak and compromised passwords across your teams, and stolen credentials are responsible for almost 1/3 of all data breaches. It means every weak and reused password puts your business at risk. So 1Password can help. So here's what you do. Take the first step to better security by securing your team's credentials. Find out more at 1Password.com/primarytech and start securing every login. That's the number 1Password.com/primarytech to start securing every login. Thanks to 1Password for sponsoring this episode and our friends at Shopify. Listen, if you're trying to build a website, you're trying to sell something online, Shopify is the way to go. I have built multiple Shopify websites myself, and I've tried lots of different platforms, building things to sell both physical goods, digital goods, and the easiest and best way to do it is with Shopify. If you're intimidated by it, or you're trying to launch your business, launch even a new podcast, maybe you're trying to sell some merch with it, despite all those fears, Shopify can help you make it happen. It's the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US from household names like Allbirds use Shopify. And I've bought many Allbirds in the past, and I use Shopify to do it. And you can just tell, like, when you're shopping, when you're checking out with Shopify, I know personally, I just trust the checkout process because I know it's Shopify in the background. I've done it hundreds of times before. And Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. Listen, I know what international shipping is like. I send pins around the world for this podcast, and it is not for the faint of heart. Don't do it the hard way like I did. Use something like Shopify. And did I mention the iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. So it's time to change and turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/primary. Go to shopify.com/primary. That link is also in the show notes. Shopify.com/primary. Thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. Ooh, let me tell you that I'm going to be thinking about that Val Kilmer thing all the rest of the day. That's kind of weird. I don't want to get, I won't get back to it. But there's a new video doorbell on the block, and I wanted to mention it because everyone asks us to do like HomeKit and smart home stuff, and I always forget, and I don't, I don't know. I could complain about my Hue Hub Pro, but I'm not going to do that because no,
because you already did that for the pre-show.
I did that for the pre-show. You have to pay to hear me complain about my Hue Hub Pro. But the Aqara released a G400 wired doorbell. This is important for a couple reasons. Aqara had video doorbells before. They were wireless, so you had to deal with batteries and charging. And honestly, they were a little chunkier. They were very square, very blocky. This one is much nicer looking. It's very svelte, more akin to the Logitech Circle View doorbell that I've been using for years. Has the chime that you can place anywhere in your house. And it is 2K and works with HomeKit Secure Video. And so you don't need to pay another subscription if you already have iCloud Plus. And this is, I'm going to try this immediately. I've been using the Logitech Circle View doorbell since it launched. It is 1080p. It's kind of long in the tooth, and the viewing angle isn't the best. And I also want 2K. Now, the problem here is HomeKit Secure Video only supports 1080p. So in the Home app, I'll only see 1080p video, which is really frustrating. Apple needs to change that. But I can still go to the Aqara app and see the 2K video feed from this camera. You can even put SD card in here, and you can record to an SD card. If you don't, if you want that, you can also use power over Ethernet with this thing, which now I wish I ran an Ethernet cable to my front door in addition to everywhere in my house. But I'm very excited for this doorbell. It is now like one of two doorbells because Belkin and Wemo stopped making their smart home products. If you want a HomeKit Secure Video doorbell, your option is this, the older Aqara ones, and Logitech Circle View, which is even older. And so this, I'm going to have to try it, and I'll review it. But on the face of it, looks like one of the best options for HomeKit Secure Video doorbell. Look at that.
Did they send that to you? Or okay.
Not sponsored, and they didn't pay me. I bought this on Amazon. It's only $100 too, which is like the cheapest HomeKit Secure Video doorbell I think you can get as well. So yeah, I bought this with my own money. I'm gonna install it and we'll try it out. Not sponsored, just excited. Also, another exciting thing: Overcast, the third-party podcast app, which I know a lot of people who listen to this show use. Marco Arment, the solo developer, he is building transcripts into Overcast. And these are transcripts that will be available for every show because they are happening on device. This is really powerful. This is even a step further than what even Apple is doing. Like when Apple Podcasts offers transcripts for a show, it's transcribing it in the cloud and providing it. But as you know, if you support the show through Memberful, you don't get transcripts for those shows because Apple doesn't transcribe private RSS feeds because you add that private RSS feed to your Apple Podcast app and the Apple and a Podcast Connect service never touches it. Well, Marco's Overcast is going to transcribe every show on device. It is in beta right now. You need to have the test flight, but it should be coming very soon. Transcripts of most podcasts, it says. I'm not sure what is excluded from that, but you can live scroll the transcript during playback, tap to seek on any line of text, music detection, and it even works with dynamic ad insertion and private member podcasts. This is a massive achievement, and I'm sure it was a massive undertaking. First podcast app to do this, maybe the only one to do it on device. So kudos, Marco. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I think that that's why if you listen to you just happen to like launch a podcast right after it has been published, sometimes there isn't a transcript available yet. So that's why.
Yeah, and it's going to do it on device. So that's pretty sweet. So that is the Overcast update. Also, Samsung, the Galaxy Z Trifold, that basically the dual hinge device, they're like, yeah, we're going to stop making that thing. And they're winding it down. I mean, Jason is so exhausted by even the thought of this thing.
Do you think that it's because they couldn't sell it for less than that and that was just more than anyone wanted to pay for it? Or do you think it's because no one just cared about a screen that unfolds twice?
I think both and. I think it's extremely expensive. No one was buying it. probably really hard to make and not worth the effort. And maybe they should go make some RAM or
Hmm.
SSDs instead that people will actually buy at a huge premium right now. So, yeah, I think it's just too expensive. It's too ahead of its time. I don't know if we'll ever be in a world where trifold folds are the thing. I feel like single fold phones, people seem to like those. Trifold, I don't know. That's a lot.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
so.
don't think, and also, I mean, it runs Android and it's basically a tablet, and those two
Yeah.
things don't go together.
Well, that's so anyway. So trifold winding down. Facebook also launched a new monetization program. They're calling it the Creator Fast Track. And interestingly, if you have a bunch of followers on another platform like Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, that they will start paying you to post reels on Facebook. It just seems like Meta is
And they'll send you
desperate.
a MacBook Neo.
No, that's not part of this program.
Okay.
Man, this is specifically for reels on Facebook, which I'm like, you have Instagram. I don't know why you want the stuff on Facebook specifically.
How many of the people they're targeting had to go and make a Facebook account because they've never used it once?
That's the thing, and that's why like it's hilarious. They're saying creators can earn $1,000 per month if they have at least 100,000 followers on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, and $3,000 per month if they have over 1 million followers on any of these platforms. And it's just for posting your reels. And they, even in the announcement, they were like, "You don't even have to make new reels; just post your old ones. Just put them on Facebook." Why does it matter? I guess because the demographic there, like the older demographic that
I
spends
mean, they're
money.
probably trying to get people to come to Facebook because Facebook is still a surface that they make a ton of money
Yeah.
monetizing through ads.
Uh,
And if you
yeah.
think about it, like Facebook is, my guess is, much more frequently used on the web, like on a browser, than Instagram is. And so they want, and you can show different
Mm,
types of ads. So you have a different
sure.
inventory of ads there. And I'm guessing they're just trying to push more people to do that because like the other part of Meta's strategy has been trying to surface content for you just across, like, doesn't matter. Like Facebook used to be, you just saw what was your friends, right? Well, in
Right, right.
order for Facebook to be showing you content with the algorithm, it needs that content. And Facebook users typically not making reels. And so that's the thing that they
Right.
typically try to show you. Like I see this
Mhm.
on Facebook. There'll be like ad, post from someone I know, post from someone I don't know, ad, then a carousel full of reels, all from
Right.
people I don't know. And I'm like, okay. And most of the reels on Facebook feel like either AI slop. It's like,
Yes.
is this really real people who do this? Like, are there real people telling these stories through reels
Listen,
on Facebook?
can I say, uh,
I
does
mean,
your
you have the
wife
mic. You can
does your
say
wife
whatever.
scroll? Hey, thank you. Does your wife scroll Facebook? Do you know?
I know for sure she does because she sends me like story ideas.
Yeah. My wife does too, and I tried to convert my wife to Instagram. But did you ever try that?
Oh, my wife uses Instagram.
She does. Okay, my wife, she never moved over there. She was like, I don't want to deal with two apps, so she stayed in the Facebook world.
Her phone home screen has just one app. It's just
And just
blue. It
one,
says Facebook.
just one. But so she scrolls reels on Facebook, and one, a little part of me dies inside, and that's fine. An angel loses its wings whenever you
Gets
scroll
hit by a
reels on Facebook.
bus.
That was the quote. Someone said we need to make a T-shirt of that, and I agree. I think we need to make something about an angel hitting by a bus. But anyway, kind of like Spirited. That's kind of the end of Spirited. No
Oh yeah.
spoilers.
Oh,
No,
that's literally the end
literally
of
a spoiler.
Spirited.
Literally a spoiler. It's been out for a few years. So she will show me things, and I do think there's way more AI generated content on Facebook than there is Instagram. I scroll Instagram, and you'll see some AI generated stuff sometimes, but Facebook, like the ads, and this is something where I've talked about it before. If you create an ad for Facebook, like you are making the ad yourself, Facebook just tells you, like, listen, we can take this one image you gave us and make like 30. You want us to do that? We can even
Right.
make a video of this image. That cool with you? And unless you explicitly tell it no and click a bunch of boxes, it is just going to AI generate a ton of stuff. And so that's why I think the ads you see on Facebook are more heavily AI because Facebook is doing it. Not even that the creator or advertiser is doing it. And it's bad. Like there'll be times where like she sees a product, she'll be like, does this look cool? And I was like, maybe, but I think that's AI. And there's sometimes where it's a product and one picture looks real, I think is real, but then there's a video right after it in the same carousel, and it's like, that video is definitely AI. So is this a real product or not? Like,
Right.
that's a tough question and not great for an advertiser, I would think, because as a consumer, I'm hesitant to buy it because I'm like, is this thing even real? So
Yeah.
not great. But anyway, Facebook will pay you to post there, I guess. And one other piece of news, and then we're going to get into the agentic features of the the Gamsung S26 Ultra. And I got some Claude Korg stuff I want to talk about too. But Rivian and Uber just announced a deal this morning as we record. Uber is going to invest $1.25 billion in Rivian R2 vehicles for autonomous taxis. This is going to be in 2028. They're expecting to launch in Miami and San Francisco, 25 additional cities by 2031. And this is level 4 autonomous driving. Jason, can you interpret the level 4 autonomous?
I think it's I can't remember if level 4 has to still have a driver or doesn't have a driver. You're going to look it up.
I'm going to look it up using never mind. I tried doing Apple's right click and look up a definition. That doesn't work.
I think it does it all on its own, but it still has to have, it's just within a specific area.
Within a specific area.
Whereas in level 5, it's like you could be sitting in New York and be like, take me to San Francisco.
Right, which Waymo announced that you can now do freeways in a Waymo. So I would trust Waymo on a freeway. Would you?
I would trust Waymo more than any of these other ones.
Yes.
I would trust Waymo on a highway more than a Tesla robotaxi in a parking lot.
Okay, well, there you go. There you go.
I'm kidding, actually. I want to just be clear because we're going to get a lot of feedback on that.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, man, this is going to hit
because a Tesla self-driving in a parking lot is actually not the best scenario for it.
Right.
Like on a road is back to the best scenario.
I just need to adjust. Everyone who might be tempted to leave us a 1-star rating and review right now, hold on. We just got our 5-star rating. Instead, send a 1-star email to the other guy at primarytech.fm, and Jason will read that himself.
I will, and I will read it on the air. Well, that's maybe not true because it depends on what you say.
It depends.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever ridden in a Tesla self-driving car, to be honest. I don't think I have.
I have. And I keep getting told it's getting better, and that's fine. I've driven in the most recent version, and it's good. I'm just saying it's not full self-driving yet. That's all.
Right. And so we'll see if Rivian R2 can actually achieve that, which supposedly R2s are going to be delivering this year. Have you gotten any kind of notification? Because didn't you put a deposit on one?
No, I did not put a deposit on one.
Oh, you didn't?
If I get one, I want the R3.
I do. Yeah, the R3 would be the one to get. I thought I put a deposit on it because it was like $100, but I don't know. The cheapest version.
Steven's throwing money around everywhere that he doesn't even remember when he put a deposit on a car.
This was a year ago.
That's what they do. They want you to just put the money down now, and then hopefully you forget about the Kickstarter by the time it's supposed to ship.
The Kickstarter. But the price for an R2, if you do get one this year, is going to be like $70,000. The cheaper one's not going to be till later, or $60,000. So, I won't be getting. I'll be honest. Another one of the quick news too, Encyclopedia Britannica, which you might have heard of, they're suing OpenAI because OpenAI is literally like quoting the encyclopedia in responses. And Encyclopedia Britannica is like, hey, that's literally what we say verbatim. Pretty obvious that they just ingested all of the Encyclopedia Britannica. So another lawsuit, which they're still in a lawsuit with the New York Times and others. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about some AI agent stuff. I made a video about the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra because there was this feature called screen automation. I first saw The Verge report it. It was just like an article where Allison Johnson tried it out. And so I wanted to try it out myself. And I have my S26 Ultra, and I tried it, and it is pretty wild. So what happens is when you can ask the S26 Ultra it works with 3 apps, Starbucks, DoorDash, and Uber. And you can just ask the voice assistant, and it's using Gemini, and it will literally control the apps in the background of your phone. So you can ask the assistant, order me a grande iced flat white from Starbucks for pickup at this location. You can even do multiple drinks in that one question, and it will do it. It'll add the drinks at the right pickup location with customizations, like I said, with 3 stevia, blonde espresso. It does it all. You can literally watch it using the Starbucks app in the phone. At any point, you can stop the task or take over, but it goes all the way up to you just having to tap checkout, and then you have to manually tap checkout, so you spend the money. And it blew my mind. I mean, this is kind of like the AI browser. It's using the browser for you, but on the phone with the phone using itself for you. And it's wild to watch. It asks proper follow-up questions. Like one time I forgot to say order for pickup and it like asked me, "Do you want this for delivery or pickup?" And that, it asks. So that was pretty wild. The iPhone, even with the ChatGPT app and some of the integrations there, is not even close. DoorDash will not order a meal for you on the iPhone. It'll just order groceries for delivery. I don't know why I can do groceries but not a meal, but okay. And then just for kicks, I charged up and updated my Rabbit R1, Jason. That piece of garbage. Let me tell you, I had to, first of all, updating it was a pain in the butt. It took me like 3 days to get it through all the updates because it kept disconnecting from Wi-Fi. And then the Rabbit R1, I needed to sign in to my DoorDash account through the Rabbit Hole, which is like their web portal. And you have to like use a virtual browser in a browser basically to like log into your DoorDash account so it can save the cookies and it has access to your account. I'm not a robot checkbox, like the Cloudflare checkbox. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it would like not work.
Right, because it's a robot.
Because it is a robot trying to click the thing. And so it took me days to try and just connect my DoorDash account. And even when I did, Jason, that stupid thing, it said, yeah, it's great. You can order butter chicken from Minerva Restaurant. Just go to the DoorDash app or just do it on the DoorDash website. And and an angel got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah, because you pinched and zoomed. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to make sure we clarify where that actually came from. It's pinching and zooming. Pinch
That's
to
right.
zoom. But so isn't it, I think it's true that it's actually doing something even more interesting, which is it's running a version of the Starbucks app in a virtualization on your device so that it because it can only do 3 apps right now because it doesn't have full reign over your phone. And I think it doesn't even it's like weird because it's like virtualized.
Well, I don't know though, because by the end of the process, it opens the actual Starbucks app and it has all the stuff in the cart with the pickup location. And when I told it to look for a pickup location, it could search near my current location. So if it was virtualized in some web portal in a server somewhere, I guess it could pass my location info, but
No, I think it's still running on your device.
Right.
But I just think it's like sandboxed from everything else so that the AI doesn't go off. It's like,
correct.
Actually, I don't want to do Starbucks now. I think we'll go to Chase Bank and see what's going on over there.
No, it is locked to the app. And again, you can watch the whole process, watch the phone using itself. But it's pretty wild. And like even asking it to hail an Uber, you could say, I need an Uber to the airport. And it will rightly ask which airport. Good follow-up. And then it will just do it. And it'll bring you all the way to actually checking out. You still have to manually check out. But I thought it was really impressive. It felt like this is AI on a phone. And if you were like getting off a plane and you want to say like, hey, get me an Uber to my hotel. And it had the information of what your hotel was on that trip and could do the whole process behind the scenes while you're walking to baggage claim or whatever, or walking to the airport exit. Your phone could be in your pocket doing these things. And then could have hailed the Uber for you, and you didn't have to do a bunch of taps while you were walking around. That seemed impressive. Like that seemed like the next step of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't really want my phone doing things in my pocket while I'm waiting for an Uber, but I get the idea. Like being able to shout into the void, "Hey, I need an Uber at this terminal." That's great, but I don't know if I want it like tapping around on the app on my phone. I feel like it'd be better if like that actually happened in the cloud somewhere where you're just like, "Hey, Dingus, I need an Uber." And Dingus is like, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like the closest to actually being a thing. I mean, it is.
Yeah, that's because Google is just like, we're just going to do it. Either you're going to make it so that we can integrate with you, or we're going to just use the apps on your phone.
Right. And what is it? Like, I think this will be on the Pixel 10 series as well. It's in beta on the S26 Ultra right now. But it is Gemini behind the scenes doing it. And Gemini supposedly going to be powering the voice assistant on iPhone. Maybe. I mean, Apple would have to actually allow this, like let Gemini use the apps on your phone, which maybe they'll have a version of it. Maybe. I don't know. So
I mean, Apple barely lets us use the apps on our phone without paying 30%.
Ah, wow. Fair enough. Fair enough. I did also in that video point out, if you didn't know, Starbucks has a shortcuts action, which is really sweet. The shortcuts action actually lets you like build an order and select a location, and you literally with the tap of a shortcut just could order Starbucks immediately.
Yeah, which seems a little easier than letting it work in your pocket. And I think Starbucks will even, if you place an order, I don't know if it knows like you did the same order a bunch of times, but it'll be like, do you want to just make a shortcut and order this next time?
It will do that. Yeah.
It's
If you have the
awesome.
regular order. Yeah.
That is actually like very good user interface. Like,
Yeah,
just,
it is. Yeah.
oh, you do this a lot. Here you go. Here's your triple short Americano. Just tap this button next time.
Is that your order? Is that your Starbucks order?
I like it. I like a triple Americano.
Yeah, I do the flat white blonde espresso. That's mine.
That's fine too. There's just a lot of milk.
That's right. That's what makes it good. But I still do my cold brew in the morning. Chameleon cold brew. I had some good news for you, Jason.
I'm waiting.
One, well, have you still been using Claude? Let me ask. You've been using Claude a little bit?
I have been using Claude a little bit. I still feel like it's the really smart friend that wants to make sure that we know that I'm really aware of our positions in this relationship. And that's annoying to me. Like,
sure.
Talking to Claude is like talking to a robot that actually thinks it's alive.
Yeah, well, sure.
And really wants to make sure that you also think that it's alive. And so I find myself often like nodding my head like, okay, Claude.
Well, here's what's cool about Claude. One,
it's not alive, by the way. That's
not alive. AI browsers. Previously, the AI browsers were Comet from Perplexity, Atlas from ChatGPT, which I've not heard about in months, and then Gemini in Chrome. But you have to use Chrome.
Friends don't let friends use.
Friends don't let friends use Chrome. But I installed it because I try all the things. So I tried it, and then I realized Claude Cowork, which you talked about in a previous episode, also runs in Chrome. But it's just an extension, but it can do all the AI browser things. You can literally just tell Claude to do things in your browser, and it will take over your browser and do things. Well, Jason, what you're probably doing right now as I'm talking is what I did, was just search, can I add the Claude extension to Brave? Turns out you can. And you can just install the Claude extension on whatever Chromium browser you want, and it does the same agentic stuff. You can have Claude be your AI browser agent wherever you want. And I used it in Brave yesterday, and it was actually better than Gemini in Chrome. So I immediately uninstalled Chrome from all my Macs, and now I'm just a two-browser guy. I got Safari, I got Brave, and Brave is now my Riverside recorder, but it is also my AI browser with the Claude extension. And it's great. And even so, like the one task I ask it to do every single day, Apple Podcasts figured out how to do HLS video, but I still can't figure out how to publish an episode without my action. I can't just say publish when ready. I have it refresh this page in Podcast Connect every 60 seconds. When the button turns purple, click the button. This is what I would used to do in Perplexity Comet's AI browser, and it did it fine. It was reliable. I asked Gemini to do it, and it was like, yeah, I see it turn purple. Want me to press it? It's like, this is not helpful. Yeah, I told you, press the button in my initial prompt.
You had one job.
You had one job. Don't ask me to press it. But Claude in Brave as an AI assistant, it's like, yeah, I got this. And it pressed the publish button without another interaction from me. And that is how I'll be AI browsering from now on, is the Claude extension in Brave. You can install it in whatever Chromium browser you want, and it's pretty great. And now I realized I don't have to pay for a ton of different AI stuff. I'm going to pay for Claude. I still pay for ChatGPT, and I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that. But do you still pay for ChatGPT?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I am just installing it in Brave right now. It took me like 4 different.
I knew you were doing it.
4 different tries.
I knew that's exactly what you were doing.
I have one very specific thing.
Yes.
That I like to find out if these browsers can do, and none of them can do it, which is look at a Google Analytics dashboard and tell me what's happening, and nobody knows. Not even Gemini. None of them have a clue.
Did you try Comet?
Yeah, none of them have a clue. And I think there's actually something that's happening on the page where Google Analytics is like making it so that they can't do that. But what's happening on this page? Let's see what happens. We're just going to find out.
Did you put it in the control my browser mode?
I sure did.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah. Oh, it's looking at it. Oh,
it's glowing, right? It's glowing orange.
It says started debugging this browser. I didn't ask you to do that.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's taking a screenshot. Oh, look at that summary. There are two visitors on the site right now. Real time traffic chart. Average site. Oh, this is pretty good.
Claude, I'm telling you. I'm just saying, I really hope they figured out with the Department of Defense and they don't like make Claude go away.
They're not going to make Claude go.
I know, but like there was still news like Dario Amodei and Anthropic, they're seeking a court case to not be marked as a supply chain risk and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. But man, Claude is the AI agent, Claude Cowork. Listen, I know they sponsor this podcast sometimes. They did not sponsor this episode, but Claude has like been my go-to. I still go to ChatGPT for my here's a transcript to give me some title and description ideas. But man, Claude is it knows what it's doing.
Claude is actually not terrible at that either. I've done some just the one thing I don't like about it is that if you just open the Claude app on a Mac just from nothing, it defaults to Cowork. But that's not, it's like, it just tells, it's like, oh, here, Cowork, here's some 7 things you can do. I'm like, dude, I already know what I want to do. I opened you for a reason. Just leave me alone. I wanted to. But it's fine.
Yeah, I will say, what was I going to say?
Well, and then there's the one fact that every time I say, okay, well, generate this, there's like 6 different ways it might do that. Sometimes it gives me a markdown file that just says, open this in Ulysses. Sometimes it's like, here's a Word doc. I'm like, literally never do I want a Word doc. In my life, I will never ask you for a Word doc.
I would like a Word perfect document.
I will never ask you for a Word doc. And if you give me one, I will delete you.
Did you ever use Word Perfect on your Windows PC back in the day?
Probably.
Word Perfect and clip art. That was a killer combo. One thing I have to say, though, stop requiring the email magic link to sign into accounts. Anthropic does this for Claude. Perplexity does this. There's no way to set a password and even a 2-factor to log in. It sends me the stupid email.
I use a passkey for Claude, or I use sign in with Google for Claude.
Oh, well, I don't do that.
Just click that.
No, I don't want to do that.
Why?
I want to have a separate account.
It only passes your credentials. That's it. It's just using that credential for your credential. It's not like you're connecting it to Google. You're just.
But then that becomes my email too. Like it sends all my email about Claude to my Gmail, which I don't use.
That seems like the ideal situation because I don't think you want those emails.
Well, fair, but I want my actual email to be associated with my Anthropic account.
Yeah, you should just be using Gmail.
No, not doing it. Side note, I actually got David to admit that he switched back to Gmail from Fastmail, and he was like, this is going to be a thing with our listeners. And I was like, oh, sorry to get you in trouble there, buddy.
Gmail's fine. Whatever. We don't have time on this podcast.
I know. An
hour and 15 minutes in.
And it is fine, but I really like Fastmail.
I don't. If I don't want to move again, but it's stupid to me that like every other app I use, I can't even use it with Superhuman. I can't use it's just insane. If I want to use it on my Mac, I got to download a profile to just do all these. It's like just come on, you're not that.
I'm not moving back to Google. Yeah. Well, the custom domains I have to pay for Google Workspace too, and I don't want to do that because then that's a whole other thing. Anyway.
This is the kind of thing we can't start an hour and 15 minutes into the show.
But maybe we could argue in the bonus episode after you talk about your Mac. But anyway, I want to talk about my home theater setup because I literally had a live crash out last episode as you were telling me about this dumb bracket for my LG G5 OLED. And I didn't know what was going to happen.
I don't think I'm going to like where this is going. Well, I mean, I already know where it's going and I don't like it. But
Yeah. So we recorded last Thursday. The TV was delivered Thursday afternoon. So a couple hours after I was done with the pod, this was the TV in my living room. It's the LG G5 77-inch OLED. Came in the box. I was like, man, this thing looks really big. Anyway, took it out of the box. The bracket, the low-profile flush mount bracket was in the box, as we discussed. So I could have used that. But as we stated in the last episode, I didn't particularly want to do that. And so I didn't. And so I took the bracket from my old TV, which was rated up to a 95 whatever inch TV or whatever. The tilting wall mount bracket fits just fine on the LG G5 OLED. I got the screw holes perfect for it. Use the same screws, all good. I did, in fact, put my new 77-inch or 75-inch Hue gradient light strip behind it because I like the option to do fun lights sometimes. And guess what? Mounted perfectly. Mounted just fine. Actually, even better than my last TV because the last TCL, the mounting screws were like at the bottom of the TV. And so the whole TV was like not centered vertically with my speakers. And now it actually is. And I used the old bracket, mounted everything. And so Thursday night, it was mounted on my wall, working just fine.
Why did you not want to use the slim bracket?
Well, one, I wanted the Hue gradient light strip. And if I'm
Which
going
you
to,
still technically could have done, but okay.
I still technically could have done, but then why? Then why use it? And B, I would have had to drill all new holes. And it says you don't need to put it in the studs. It says if you can put it in the studs, great. If not, it's not a big deal. I was like, why? If I want to put the hue gradient light strip behind it, I don't care that it's flush mounted, honestly. Like, it is very close to the wall. I didn't take a side profile picture of it. I'll probably do a video sometime soon. But like, it is very close to the wall, even with the current bracket, my old bracket. And, there's a bunch of cables in there, and I would have to have route them perfectly through the thing, which I could have, but the wall plate where the cables come out, I wouldn't have been flush. Like, there's no way I could have gotten it absolutely flush. So I was like, I'm just gonna use old mount, and it worked great, and it's wonderful.
All right.
Now, we watched Interstellar on it this past weekend. That was amazing. It's a great TV. It also does 4K at 120 hertz, which my kids and their video game systems were very keen to know and set up. Now, I also upgraded my receiver. And now because my old receiver was an old Denon, and it did not support 4K 120, and it was just really old and kind of buggy. Like the input sometimes would kind of freak out or whatever. And so I was like, well, I wanted to upgrade my receiver. So I got this Denon. I got the Denon S970H, which is capable of 4K 120. They say it's capable of 8K or whatever, but it's capable of 4K 120. I'll put a link to this receiver and my TV down in the show notes. Those will be affiliate links in case anybody wants to buy them. But this receiver, also really good, does Dolby Atmos. What's weird is I plugged all the stuff in, and I couldn't get my son's Xbox to do 4K 120. It was like, well, we can do 1080 at 120, or we could do 4K at 60. I was like, I really thought all this stuff could do it. And so, as you do, I asked Gemini, how do I do 4K 120 with this receiver? And it said, rightly so, well, inputs 4, 5, and 6 are capable of 4K 120, but inputs 1, 2, and 3 are only capable of 4K at 60. And I don't know. I'm not a huge numbers guy, but I'm like, wouldn't you put the fastest ports as the first ports? I don't know. That's just how my mind works. I figured you would do that. But apparently, it's 4, 5, and 6. So I moved the Xbox, the PS5, and the Switch 2 to inputs 4, 5, and 6. I went back into the Xbox settings, went into the PS5 settings, and now they have 4K 120 Dolby Atmos sound on the OLED TV, and it's wonderful, and it's been great. And I just want to tell my past self, who was literally freaking out at this point in last week's podcast, it's going to be okay, buddy. It's going to be okay. You're going to get to watch Interstellar this weekend. It's going to look great. The TV's not going to fall off the wall. It's great.
And if Steven edited these separately, there will be chapter art of what he just showed you. But we don't know yet because that'll be in the future. And as we record this, there may or may not be Schrodinger's chapter art.
Schrodinger's chapter art. Have you ever mounted your own TV?
We had this. Yes. Remember, I used my strongest daughter to help me mount that TV.
Do you ever have the feeling of you go to sleep the night that you mounted the TV and you're like, I hope I don't wake up tomorrow morning and this TV's on the floor?
I occasionally still have that thought. I just want to make sure, because that TV is the nicest piece of technology that I think that's probably not entirely true. I have some nice computers and whatever, but there are times when, but it's been a couple of years and it's fine.
Well, so the mount, we have the tilting mount, and you clip on the top, and you should feel it rest on that, and then you swing the bottom in, and you hear a click. And that's how the bracket goes on the mount. And so me and my wife were doing it. And this was an all hands effort because me and my wife are holding this TV, which is very heavy. She sacrificed part of her hand for it, which I appreciate. Not bad, but he made a mark. And my middle son was plugging in the HDMI cables as we're holding the TV close to the mount. My daughter is plugging in the power. We're all working together. And so once everything was plugged in, my wife and I we tried to get it all the way up against the wall, slide it down, and her side seemed to click in first, and my side was still going below the mount. So I was like, all right, I gotta push mine a little bit more, and then it clicks on, and then we kind of let the bottom swing in a little bit, still holding it, and we thought we heard clicks, but we weren't sure. And there's that moment of do we let go of this TV right now? And like, I basically said, just hold on to it for a second. I put my son there in place of me. I was like, just hold on to it. And like, it's so close to the wall that I'm like taking my flashlight with my phone.
Yeah.
But because I put the LED light strip from the hue gradient strip on the TV already, I can't really see behind because the gradient light strip is taking up the whole gap. But so I'm like trying to like move the LED light strip and I'm shining my flashlight. I'm like, I think it's on there. And I'm doing one of these things. You ever do this where you like take a picture of like in a place you can't really see directly and then look at the picture? Yeah. So I was doing that stuff. I was doing it from multiple angles, like from the top, from the side. I was like, from what I can ascertain from these images, which is not much, I think, I think it is on the bracket. And so we slowly let go, and it's been on the wall for the last week, and it's been okay. So I think we're good. I think we're good.
It seems like the statute of limitations for falling off the bracket has expired.
A week, right? A week. If it stayed on a week, like it's going to stay on there for a long time.
Yeah, gravity doesn't change just because a week has passed.
Yeah. You're in your mind, you always think like, is there something like holding this up that is slowly letting go? And I'm like, I don't think so.
I have that thought every time I get in.
Yeah, I get that. Do you not like elevators?
I don't like heights. I don't like elevators. I don't like stairs or escalators.
But you're fine on plane. You fly all the time.
Planes are fine. Don't make me explain it. I don't know.
I get it. That's hilarious. But anyway, TV's up, sound system's working, everything works great. My Philips Hue hub still sucks. I have to figure out how to connect my HomeKit devices again, but all is well. And I think I'll make a video about my whole home theater setup again because it's now all upgraded. And it's fun stuff. Get to watch stuff. I don't know. We watched Zootopia 2. That was actually the first thing we watched. And that was fun. That was fun with the Hue lights because it's a very colorful movie and all the stuff around.
I still don't like the idea of the lights. I don't know.
I will be honest. I did not put the lights on for Interstellar. I wanted to just...
Yeah, that would defeat the entire purpose of having the OLED.
This is what I'm saying. But for Zootopia, nobody cares. I mean, it's the whole...
It's why are you manually introducing bloom? To a TV, the entire point is that there's no bloom.
Yeah. But for Zootopia, for Mario Brothers, like it's fun just to have all the stuff going. And I do dim it.
Does it react to the TV?
It follows the picture.
How?
Because the HDMI is going into the Philips Hue Sync box. Then the Hue Sync box is sending the signal to the lights.
So you're not really getting 4K. It's diminished by the Hue.
No.
Just kidding.
No. I get receivers that have a secondary HDMI output. And that's where I put my Philips.
I was just trying to see if I could induce another.
No. That I've thought about because I've had that set up that way since we moved in. I have Zone 2 HDMI going to the Philips Hue Sync box, so it is not introduced in the signal chain to the TV.
Okay.
It's not my first day. Although there's some weird things now where sometimes the TV will black out, and I think it's because the Hue Sync box is like turning on for a second, and the receiver is having to switch to like dual HDMI output. And then it comes back after a few seconds. So I have to figure that out too. So no problem with the TV or the receiver or the mount. Hue Sync Box Pro is still, jury's still out. We'll have to see.
All right.
But we're going to talk about MacBook Neo. Jason got one. I'm going to talk about my getting started guide. You can listen to this show ad-free. Get our pre-show and bonus episodes every week by going to join.primarytech.fm. And listen, I just realized I don't have to do chapters either way because our members who pay for this show, they're going to get an MP3 file. Like, even if we do video, and I want them to have chapters because they're literally paying for the show.
Right.
So I just now, past me from an hour ago when we talked about it, I just want you to know I'm going to keep doing it like I'm doing it because our members need an MP3.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, yeah, you'll have chapter artwork the whole time. You'll have already known this because you're watching it. I know everyone's going to be looking. But
this mystery has been solved for our listeners since the beginning.
Right. But honestly, if we do end up experimenting with video in the future, that may mean that supporting the show is where you get the chapter artwork. And that's actually a member benefit because I have to add it there. So go to join.primarytech.fm and you can get the ad-free show, the bonus content. You'll always get chapter artwork no matter what in the future, forever. And you can do that there. You can also support an Apple Podcast. I have no idea how that's going to work with video in Apple Podcasts. Not even Transistor knows because Apple has not communicated it. So no idea how that works with subscriber audio in Apple Podcasts. So we'll find out together. Really, no idea how that works.
Amazing.
Yeah. And you can also give us a 5-star rating and review. Let me know glossy or nano texture. Thank you for getting us back up to 5 stars. That's wonderful. Super exciting. We'd love to be 5 stars in every country around the world. I feel like Australia, we're probably pretty close because we get a lot of reviews from them. But thank you all for that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.